you ever hosted an event? Let's say a home buying seminar, a client appreciation event, maybe it was a meetup, maybe it was an open house, and you did all of this planning, all of this preparation, only to have two people show up. Like, yo, if you're listening, you probably know what this feels like, and it is fucking heartbreaking, right? And also like a little embarrassing. So if I'm speaking to your soul right now, this one is for you because today, Allie and I are going to talk through best practices to get more cheeks in the seats, to get people to show up and care about the information you are putting out into the world. So expect to learn how to reach more people, specifically your target audience, how to remind those people of the event that you are hosting, and ultimately how to convert those people. And by convert in this sense, I mean actually get them to show up. And because when they do show up, they're going to discover that, you know what, by the end of it, they now know you, they like you, and you trust you. And that is the relationship formula that leads to actually closings, right? So guys, in case you didn't know, you are listening to the Agent Goldmine podcast, the show for agents who've been around the block and are finally ready to build sustainable, scalable businesses.
Welcome to the Agent Goldmine, the only podcast in the world specifically for real estate agents who are stuck at 5 transactions a year to help them get to 20 plus. Your hosts, Allie Garced and Shelby Johnson, 2 EXP icon agents, each do over 40 transactions a year and interview others who are crushing it. In this podcast, you'll receive the knowledge to help you scale your business using systems and processes with our interviews and monologues twice a week. If you want to be a part of our community, reach out. Welcome to the show.
Wait, real quick, in case you didn't know, my name is Shelby Johnson, and this is Allie Garced. We are both former veterans turned real estate entrepreneurs, and we've closed hundreds of transactions as solo agent, team leader, and real estate investor. And now both of us are building our agent businesses again from the ground up in brand new cities. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky, and Allie is in this place called St. Paul, Minnesota. There's like 4 people who've ever heard of it. Doing great things there. And with that, okay, let's get ready to learn how to get more people to show the fuck up. Okay, let's go. So, Allie, this podcast, you know, this setup, the thing that we're doing today, it's a little different because instead of us just telling our processes, we're going to do a practical exercise together. We're going to off the cuff this, and we're going to make sure that our marketing brains are turned on. And guys, listeners, you can just play along this fun little game inspired by a real life scenario, because you know what's way easier? It's way easier to see someone else do something and then pick it apart as opposed to actually try to build it yourself. And that's so true. Like when I'm actually doing something, it's so much harder than when I see someone else and I'm like, oh, they should have done this. They should have done that, whatever. So today, the scenario we're going through is for, this is real life. This literally just happened. And we're going to use the example of my CrossFit gym because that's my only other thing besides real estate and Allie that I love, like CrossFit, right? Oh, sorry, Drake. My husband. Okay, so this is the situation. There was a weightlifting event at my gym this past weekend on Sunday. It was from 2 to 5 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. And it was hosted by 2 champion weightlifters. Like I'm talking state, regional champs. Like these people are highly qualified. They've been competing for like 10 plus years and they're just fucking awesome. This event was free and open to the public. And the event itself was fucking awesome. However, 2 people plus me, so 3, showed up. 2 people plus me. And guys, I got there at 1:50 because I know how it feels to host events and have no one show up. So I was like, I'm going to be there early. It was 2 p.m. on the dot. One other person rolled in and it was 2:20 when the second person came because I was texting him being like, where the fuck are you? I thought you were coming to this. And then he's like, oh, I'm leaving now. Okay. And so before we get into the actual marketing, the first thing I wanted to do was take a pause. And based on what you just heard, let's break this down. So if you're thinking about doing an event, what are the things that you should consider when we talk about like the event itself, who's hosting the event, maybe the title, date, time, length of time, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense, Allie, what I'm asking? Kind of?
Yeah. So, depending on my answer, I guess, let me know if I'm, let me know.
Okay. Yeah.
First thing I would think of is like regarding the date, the time,
Is it on a holiday? Does it conflict with anything else that's going on, especially if it's going to be like an in-person event? Like, for example, open houses during a tour to Tucson. People won't be able to get to your open house. Trust me how I know that. I held an open house where literally people couldn't, the roads are blocked. So just like access, is there a holiday? Are people actually is that going to be a level of friction? And then I guess marketing it or advertising it, word of mouth, is that where we're going? Did I answer the question?
So I did not lead well into this, but no, you're totally fucking spot on. It's like when you're thinking about the date and the time for the event, like Ali said, see what else is going on, or see who the target audience is and whether or not they would want to go at that date and time. So like right now, Kentucky is like the Bible Belt, y'all. Like Sunday is the Lord's Day. And so I think that for this event in particular, Sundays are tough. Those are family days. The expectation is that you're with the family or, doing churchy things. And also it's like the day of rest. And so like when you're working out, normally people rest on Sunday because they're about to kick it out for the next week. So all of these things and Ali was great about bringing it back to real estate because that's ultimately the goal. We have an example. We have a scenario that we're going to break down, but the goal is for you to understand the thought process of how to look at an event and learn to plan in the way that optimizes so you can have more than 2 people show up. So I think that Sunday in this example is questionable. I also think that the time frame 2 to 5 p.m. is terrifying for a lot of people because 3 hours of really any commitment is just scary. So I think that is something to consider. The hosts in particular, this is something that we're going to talk about marketing in just a second, but it's really, really great that the hosts are super qualified. And that's something that you should think about too when you're like planning your event. It's like, why would people want to come? Like, do people actually want to be here? What's in it for them? Do people care? And then also like, who's my target audience for this? So for this, obviously it's like fitnessy people, but for you, the considerations will be like, who actually cares about my home buying seminar? Or we should actually just pick one fucking example and run through it the whole way. What do you think, Ali? Do you want to do open houses? Do you want to do home buyer seminar? What do you want to do?
Let's do home selling seminar.
Oh, girl. Yes. Oh, okay. Home selling seminars. Perfect. So that is before you even figure out where your event. The other thing that I didn't talk about, Allie's got her finger up, so I'm gonna wait.
It might be the same thing. Location or venue.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude.
Is that it?
You're in my head. Yeah. No, go for it.
I'm in your head. In your head. Oh. So
you're like, that's it.
In this case, in your location. In your case, obviously, I feel like that would be a good location as far as the CrossFit. It's at the gym. People, that's not going to be a virtual event because why would people want to go do that virtually? In real estate, it could be in so many different locations. It could be at your office. It could be your team's office, a bar, your lender's office. So for our example, now that we're doing home selling seminar, I have done mine in the past at my lender's office because whenever we do that, the lender provides lunch or snacks or something. The venue. And it provides like a dual team. So that way it's more fun. He can bring his crew. I can bring my crew. And we don't have to worry about the location because they have like the projector, the setup, the computer, all of that is ready to go.
Yes. Love it. And there's definitely pros and cons for virtual and in person. Like both of them have pros and both of them have cons. But like that virtual one, it's like easier for people to be like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just log in, as opposed to like getting dressed, commuting, going somewhere. It's like less of a commitment. They can just, log on. But then also you're not going to get the same like belly to belly connection that you do with people when you actually like shake their hand or like hug them or smell them like I do. I just smell everyone. You're not going to get that. And the leads that you might get more people to show up for a virtual one, but generally they're less bought in than if you did something in person and they did show the commitment for showing up. What did I miss for virtual pros and cons?
Yeah, 100%. With the people showing up, even if they show up virtually, they sometimes don't like show up, like cameras
Yeah.
are off, even
Right.
though you
They're
ask
on
them
their
to
phone.
put cameras on, or the camera is on, but they're like literally at like the park with their kids or like making dinner. And it's different. So that in person is way better when it comes to that. Go ahead.
Okay. And I think that that's all we're, again, we are off the cuff with this. So it's like what will come out of our mouths in this moment. But we can always circle back if we missed anything for the event itself. But now let's talk a little bit about the scenario again for marketing in particular. So as I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey guys, how did we get word out? Because there's me and one other person here. I'm like, just curious, like, how did the word get out for this? And this is what actually happened. So 2 months ago, the hosts, these badasses, went to our gym owner and was like, hey, we'd love to do a weightlifting clinic. And the gym owner was like, sure, let's fucking do it. Who's awesome. By the way, I'm obsessed with this gym. This owner is fucking kick ass. Like all these people are legit awesome. So that this is in no way like a diss. This is just a case study. So this was 2 months ago that happened. They're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Then a month and a half ago, I, as a member of this gym, received one email that included information about 4 upcoming gym-related events over the next like 2 months. And one bullet in one line mentioned this event. And it was literally like, hey, weightlifting clinic on this date and time, mark your calendars. Before I came on here, I searched my inbox. No other emails were received. It was that one email a month and a half ago. There were no texts that were sent out being like, hey, like, this is happening, blah, 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 like pushing for it continually. And then about 3 weeks ago, the coaches started mentioning it during class. But this is like while we're stretching, while we're working out, while we're bullshitting with each other. It's like, hey guys, don't forget there's a weightlifting clinic coming up on this date. And so now what I'd like to do, this is the extent. This is 100% of the internal gym marketing announcements for this event. So now I would like to break this down. Allie, do you have any instincts about what you just heard?
Trash. That's trash. A lot of missed opportunity. One email, one text, and a couple of like somewhat verbal. Just maybe this is going too in the weeds right now, but I wonder if
girl. You go, girl.
If it's a free event, so it's not like people are making money, or I'm not sure how the speakers got paid, if they did, or what their goal is volunteer. Of it.
Yeah.
Okay, volunteer. So it is their goal to like maybe get clients out of it, like one-on-one or
no,
coaching clients?
It was literally just a give back to the community type of thing. Oh my
gosh, it hurts my soul.
I know, it's so beautiful. The people here are so nice. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah. So that hurts even more. So yeah, if that's the case, then like it's different when it comes to like paid events, because if the audience is going to be paying to be there, then maybe you can incentivize the employees that you have or other people that you know to get like some sort of kickback, 10%, or $1, like something, maybe like an hour off or a day off, whatever it is. I'm going too in the weeds as far as like when it comes to gym stuff, which doesn't really apply to agent stuff, but like incentivize people to have the same goal as you. If you are looking to get this event filled, then have other people be on your side where it's worth it for them to do so.
If you're looking to change brokerages this year so you can increase your business and you want to join us at eXp Realty and would like either myself, Allie Garced, or Shelby Johnson to personally sponsor you in, so that way you have access to 2 icon agents, text the word JOIN to either my number, 914-318-4918,
or Shelby's number, 859-267-3849.
If I sponsor you and you have access to the both of us and everything that's 5 Pillars Nation, we have the checklist, the systems, the processes to help you scale your business. And don't take our word for it. We've had agents switch brokerages to join us that were stuck making $300,000 GCI, and they join us so they can scale. So text the word JOIN to those numbers and we'll take the next steps.
Oh, I totally agree that for the coaches in particular, for that one piece, because I want to talk about the email and the text a little bit too, but for like the coaches putting it out, the incentivizing, and I think even just like a pure competition would have worked, because all of the coaches are also like athletes here. And so that's another thing you have to think about, like who who are your core advocates? Who are these people who are going to advocate for your home seller seminar? And in this case, you know, Allie did the thing as the lender. Maybe you have a couple people and maybe you incentivize them being like, hey guys, we're going to have a competition between my lender partner and blah, blah, blah partner, blah, blah, blah partner. And whoever brings the most people gets X, Y, and Z. And it doesn't have to be money related. Honestly, it can be a fucking social media hype love post because people love that, where it's like, you know, whoever brings the most people gets to be our highlight vendor of the month. And I will write literally a story about X, Y, and Z and how much I love you and write it as a poster on your, you know, so you can make it a competition. And with the coaches or with your core advocates in general, because I'm trying to bring it back to real estate stuff, is that by pushing it out as a mass blast. In their case, they just said it to people while they were distracted. But like hypothetically, if your lender is like just mass blast emailing people, you do not have the same conversion rate as a one-on-one, either text, DM, or next time you see them, be like, yo, Allie is doing this seller seminar and I know it would be a good fit for you. It would be fucking awesome for you to learn X, Y, and Z. You should totally be there. Will I see you there? Like that is totally different because you've now personalized it. You're like, oh, you want to see me there? There's an expectation of like, oh, will I see your face? And if you say yes, you know, then there's even a follow-up being like, hey, can't wait to see your face today, whatever. That person is going to show up fucking a million times more likely than the person who just received a mass blast being like, Allie Garza seller seminar. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's, so I think that we have covered this in a maybe this was an internal training to 5 pillars, but when it came to Pints and Properties, like you are so good at getting the individualized invitation customized for them in person, of course, is better than just a DM. But yeah, you're really good at that. And that would have helped.
Thank you. But just in general, I know like everyone wants to automate. That's like their goal. Like, how do I set up my drips in my CRM? Like, how many times do I fucking hear that? My drip email, my drip text. Guys, it's good to have just as like another touch point, but that's not where you really convert. Like the drips are just a reminder, oh, Allie exists in the world. Got it. But you don't really get people to buy into you and show up to your events if it's a drip. It needs to be that personalized one-on-one, whatever. Okay. So that's the coaches. Oh, another idea is the invite a friend. Instead of like, hey, will I see you there? It can also be like, after they say yes, then you can be like, ooh, like, who are you going to bring? It's about invite a friend, you know, but what friend are you going to bring? So that's just another idea. But to go back to the internal communications, Allie touched on it hard. She said, you know, the email blast and the text blast, there's a lot of missed opportunities because I know that us as salespeople, none of us fucking want to be salespeople. Every single agent is like, I don't want to be salesy. Well, bitch, you're in a sales industry. You are in sales.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But with that, like, do you have to remind people how much, I don't even know what percentage more than what you think. It's like, oh, well, I sent them an email once and I texted them once. Okay, you need to do it like at least 10 times that because people forget and they ignore and whatever. I would also say the fact that they did an email blast with other information. You can't have more than one call to action or information blast because people can only intake so much, right? And then also having like some sort of hook, which Allie is she's so much better at this than I am. But that I'd like, you know, do you want to lift more this year? Like a question or like, yeah, something to like hook people.
Yeah.
Oh, please. Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah. So with hooks, I learned this from Lauren Tickner. A question is a good one. You could also do a stat, like, some crazy stat that people likely don't know. You can also do what they call a listicle, where it's like, these are the top, 3 reasons why you need to lift more this year, AKA come here. You could do an authority type, like what you have done. Or you can do a contrarian opinion, like something that you think is different than what mainstream media says. And this is why you think that. So those are like different types of hooks you can do.
See, I knew it. Off the cuff. Give her a round of applause. I'm just kidding. No, that's really fucking awesome though. Okay. And then more things that I was thinking with this could be the email blast, but we're also going to get into like, this is all internal marketing still, things to consider. We're going to get to external in just a second, but other things that would have been really, really helpful to increase people showing up is like what is it
edify?
called? Edify. Edify. Yes.
Another round of applause, please.
Yay! Okay. So edify the hosts, especially when they are so insanely qualified, like these ones were, like really, really impressive. Then also what to expect. I think, and Allie, correct me on if you disagree on literally any of these, but like I would have, showing up to a 3-hour time block when you don't know what to expect is like really intimidating. So edify the hosts, help them understand what to expect, and also like what they can get out of it type of thing. Plus some sort of like FOMO would be ideal. And I know I'm getting like hypothetical and foggier as I continue on. These are just all ideas and things to consider when you are drafting. You cannot assume that someone knows what to expect out of your seller seminar. They might not even know what that means. And so it is your job to make it sound as fucking cool as possible. Okay. What did I miss for the actual email?
And a simple photo will help too, as far as like what to expect. Depending on how you like to advertise, whether it's like wordy, verbose, or more just like photo. And it doesn't, so ideally is to pick a photo of a past meetup. Like for example, the Pines and Properties, you had like past meetups that you would do. So that way people can see that's what I can expect. I can expect to be standing around. I can expect to have to see around, this many people. I can expect that it's going to be mingling in this manner. It's not like sit down. It's not, it's easily to mingle. You can see the vibe from a photo. So even if you don't have a photo of the past, because this is going to be if this is your first one, just take one off the internet of what your vibe is going to be. Are people going to be sitting down classroom style? Are people going to be standing up and, talking? Are people going to be rolling around on the mat doing whatever jujitsu moves? Like just a simple photo would do so much as far as setting the expectations.
Totally. And same with like the seller seminar example, like one of the things that would prevent people from going day of, that they'd be like, nah, I'm not going to go, is because they're like, oh shit, I don't know what to wear. Like literally people do not go because of that. So if you have a photo and you're like chill in t-shirts, they're like, oh, I know what to wear. Or if you are the type that's more business, that's totally fine. But that will help people eliminate those objections in their head the day of.
If you're looking to change brokerages this year so you can increase your business and you want to join us at eXp Realty and would like either myself, Allie Garced, or Shelby Johnson to personally sponsor you in, so that way you have access to 2 icon agents, text the word JOIN to either my number, 914-318-4918,
or Shelby's number, 859-267-3849.
If I sponsor you and you have access to the both of us and everything that's 5 Pillars Nation, we have the checklist, the systems, the processes to help you scale your business. And don't take our word for it. We've had agents switch brokerages to join us that were stuck making $300,000 GCI, and they join us so they can scale. So text the word JOIN to those numbers and we'll take the next steps.
Do you have thoughts, opinions, or things that you've heard on the interweb somewhere about frequency of email and or text blasts for a scenario such as a seller seminar?
Yeah, I don't have like concrete, but from so I'm actually doing something similar in my case. I'm doing a business strategy, business planning session for 2025. My lender and I are doing it together, and we have been planning for like the last 2 months. I'm not going to send out like multiple texts 2 months in advance. I will send out an email and a text, like, so that way, hey, block your calendar type thing, similar to like a wedding, like block your calendar, more information later. Save the date. And then like, as it go, the way that I'm roughly thinking about this is like once a month until we're about a month out, then it'll be once a week. And then the week before, maybe like 2 times that week, and the week of 3 days before. Like the 3rd day before, the 2nd day before, and the day before. And then maybe even day of email and text. That's what I plan on doing.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I love it. I am really a big fan of the day of reminders, being like, hey, like, can't wait to see you there. Can't wait to see your face. But the more personalized you do, the better. But yeah, make them feel like they will be missed if they're not there. And even after the event, if they're not there, you can literally be like, hey, I missed your face. Or depending on how well you know them, where the fuck were you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. Okay. So now that was like all internal. And by the way, I didn't mention this, but like they just did the email, you know, and no text or anything. They also, they don't have words. They don't have a community like Facebook group or page, which I do think is like a serious missed opportunity. They do have an Instagram account, but Instagram is different in the sense like Facebook, it can be private and, you know, people start loving on each other. Like Instagram is great. I love Instagram, so do you, but it's just a different vibe. So, okay, when we are talking about external, okay, they did post it on their Instagram page the same time that first email went out a month and a half ago. Then they did one mid-month and one 3 days ago. These were just posts. So their posts, just to give you an idea of what it was like, is this is a business page. So it's not someone's face. You can think of just like a pretty generic like business page without a lot of personality. And it's like, ready to see real progress in your weightlifting journey? Join us on this date and this time. Don't miss out on the opportunity to elevate your game. Like that was like the post, and it was this was better, but it had like a little video of one of the hosts doing like a weightlifting thing with words on top being like weightlifting clinic, whatever. But okay, so that is what they did. They did those 3 posts that I mentioned on Instagram as, from my understanding, their entire external marketing, which this was a free event to anyone in the public. And I do think, to go back to what you said earlier, I think that like if they had more skin in the game, like if this was like a paid event or if this was like someone was making money, maybe the marketing would have been a lot better. But let's just pretend whatever. So that is their extent of their external marketing. What are your thoughts on, let's break this down, on those 3 posts, on what they put out in general, what else they could have done, whatever comes to mind, Allie?
Video. You know me. I love my video. Text is good. Text is good for, you know, that's a backup. I think video first, especially if it were to come from the people that are going to be teaching, you know, like that way you can see, holy shit, this is the guy that is teaching. You know what? Similar to how a lot of real estate investing conferences do it. A lot of times, like for speakers, if they get like a cut or being paid or, you know, get a free whatever, something, they, in the contract, like they have to promote it. You know, they're promoting the event that they're speaking at. So they each will have their video saying, hey, come to XYZ conference. I'm speaking. Use this code for 10% off. Again, we wouldn't be covering payments in this case, but having all of the speakers blast their own personal social media will cover even more people. And even if it's just you, you know, like, you know, if you're going to be teaching the seller seminar, if you're going to be hosting at your lender, both of you can each do a separate video. You each cover your own following, and you talk about what they can expect, how long, where, how to dress up, you know, what to bring, how to prepare, etc. Aside from that, let me see. Yeah, that was it when it came to that.
No, perfect. Love it. Totally agree with the video. And, you know, you could, if you wanted to, you could add people as collaborators, but Allie just said core advocates, you can just post it individually. Yeah. And then, okay. So my other thought with this is, since it was an open to the public event and they did want more people to come, it's like, in your case, think about who is slightly adjacent kind of like target audience. So for this, like the gym, other gyms in the area would be a great outreach to external members. You could either, you know, hit them up on socials. You can just share and be like, hey, I'd love, you know, could you put this out? That's like one way. You could call, you could email, be like, hey, we're hosting this. Could you copy and paste this and blast it out to your gym members? You know, that's a way. Or, you know, if you want to go fucking crazy, you can show up at their classes and, like, especially if you're jacked and you like look like you're the person, then you can be like, hey, I'm, you know, this is, if it was the host, like, this is my qualifications. This is what we're hosting. We'd love to see you out there. Or other like adjacent businesses. Those are like gyms, but like adjacent businesses would be like nutrition, wellness accounts, like Recovery Lexington. Like Allie sent me the world's best. No, Britt sent me the world's best birthday present. It was like a recovery room thing. I did ice bath. It was amazing. But the point is, people who go there are probably similar to the target audience. So the whole intent of this for your seller seminars is like, who else would care? who else could benefit from pushing this out to their audience? You can think about maybe it's your photographer vendor, like go further down the vendor chain. Maybe it's like your stager, your photographer, your measurement person, maybe it's like a moving company. Like the idea is to like think about who else might care and then get in front and tap into their audiences as well.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, because the adjacent businesses, those partnerships will be forever partnerships, as opposed to, you going to another gym, or another agent and trying to get in front of their audience where it's quote unquote, competition.
Competition.
Yeah, nobody would. Yeah, don't do that. So cool. I like that.
Okay. The last thing I was thinking with external is that if you do it digitally, basically whoever you're pushing out to, you might want to get ahead of it and create a form ahead of time with like a QR code or a link or whatever and be like, hey, look, if you want more information or if you want the scoop, register at this link. And then you can collect the data as well. So just food for thought. And then, okay. I think really that's fucking it. Really, that was like internal, external. Oh my God, please.
If this is your first time after the fact, whoever ends up being a client of yours that you end up helping, ask for testimonials, save those testimonials, video testimonials, text testimonials. So that way, when you do this again in the future, as you are advertising and sending out emails and text messages and personalized videos or personalized, in-person stuff, you can show them the testimonials of the past iterations that you've done of how you've helped previous sellers, net 10% more, net 5% more, or close in under 45 days. That way it's like more proof of concept instead of like a one-time, oh, this sounds fun. Like maybe it'll help me, but there's no proof, but I'll go because she's nice. And it turns into, oh no, wait, she's done this before. And I also want that same result. Now it's even more incentive for a seller to go.
Yeah. And totally piggybacking on that, it's while you're at the event, if you know that you're the type who's going to be really focused in the event and not going to be able to like capture B-roll or like those laughing moments or do photos, designate one of your core advocates to do that in advance. Be like, dude, you're the photographer. It is your job, give them guidance, because if you don't give them guidance, they will fuck it up and you will be disappointed after the fact. So make sure you do that. And then at the event itself, it's like, you are the one to bring the energy, the excitement. You set the tone for the whole event, because your goal too is to create FOMO. Because just like Ali said, this should not be a one-time thing. No matter what this is, if you're doing a seller seminar, you're not going to do one seller seminar. The way that you're going to fucking crush with seller seminars is by doing them once a month or even more. You know what I mean? Or like at a bare minimum quarterly. But the point is that you are repeatedly doing this process, and you want people to leave not just giving the testimonial on the video, but also going and telling 5 of their friends that they cannot fucking miss it next time.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Shelby, on creating that FOMO versus like if this is an event where it could be recorded and sent out? What are your thoughts on sending it out versus keeping that FOMO to those that actually came?
Yeah, that's a good question. In my experience, everyone says they want a recording. No one fucking does anything with it.
Right.
I like the idea of, well, it depends. So this kind of goes back to the virtual versus in person. Like, which one do you want more? If you don't care, if you like want more eyeballs but less invested eyeballs, then sure, fucking record it, whatever. But I am a big believer in the belly to belly. I hate that. I've said that twice now today, and I really don't
say nipple to nipple. Saying. Is that better?
Nipple to nipple. Yeah, I just feel like that is the way to build human connection. And so I think that driving the FOMO and not giving people an alternative option is the way that I would do it personally.
Yeah.
To each their own.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There's no right or wrong way. It's whatever you want to do. If you want to be bunion to bunion or send it over virtual recording.
Cute. The cutest. Okay.
But yeah,
what did we miss?
That's all. Oh, the after the fact, after the event, if you, either way, whether you're sending out the recording, there should be some sort of after text and after email saying you like either thanks for coming or this is what you missed. And whether or not you want to send out the entire recording saying what you missed, you can at least put one photo, maybe put all the photos of what your photographer, your friend took. The important stuff that was, you can still continue creating the FOMO even after the event is over for future events that you will do later on. So don't miss out on that, because you can still convert for those that missed out on the actual event.
100%. And that is another reason why getting that form and having people register would be a good thing. Just have that data and then, know who was there and who wasn't. But yeah, your goal of being there too is like to be a real human and like actually get to know people and try to figure out how you can potentially help them, because they're all there for a reason. They didn't just show up because they like you, most of them. I mean, I would show up to anything Allie did, but besides most of them have a reason for being there. So it's your job to discover that and then follow up and be helpful, provide value, all the things.
Yeah. And again, this is not a bash on the CrossFit. Everybody starts somewhere, at least they did it. So that's like number one. If you're doing it perfect, then you can always just get a little bit better every single time. This is a great topic. I think this is really good.
Okay. I hope they never think that I'm bashing, because I'm obsessed with them. They're like my only friends here. I love them.
I think they know that too. You were one of three that showed up and you read their email. Also, so yeah, you're
thank God none of them are in real estate. So, there's a couple people in real estate, but they're like, they would never listen to this, I don't think, because they're like, they shouldn't. I actually was thinking that, Allie, how like we have some terrible things on this podcast. Like when that one girl was like, oh, I went back to start in the beginning, and we were like, no. Oh, don't do that. Yeah, I wish I could like black this out for like the nice people of Lexington, Kentucky, so they could never even find it online, because they do not need to know about this podcast.
Yeah.
Anyone outside is fine with.
Oh my God, you're telling me. I made a friend and I went on a walk with her on Saturday, and she doesn't curse. I was like, oh my gosh. Whoa, there are people like this in the world. And so, yeah.
Yeah. I feel you. Same. Okay. I think we did it.
Listeners, let us know what you got from this podcast, from this episode. Give us feedback. We are The Shelby Show and Allie the Agent. And be a bro and share this show.